Want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Pistons Talk Podcast presented by FanDuel. I have been so busy. I've done 5 podcasts today. I've done 3 on this YouTube channel, and then I had 2 guest appearance on some Chicago Bulls uh, podcast and YouTubers channel because of the Jaden Ivey stuff. But let's get into this post-game show. First game of the week. Pistons are at home playing the Denver Nuggets again. Nikola Jokic is back and really liked what I saw in the first quarter from Duncan Robinson. If you guys remember last time, Duncan didn't have his best performance against Denver. He was 0 for 8. He started off really great. He eventually finished with over 20 points in this one. And it's always good when he does have his shot falling. I think it really just opens up everything else for the rest of his teammates. Really love the activity from Jalen Duren as well, crashing the glass, catching lob threats from not only Cade Cunningham, but also Asar Thompson. Um, just love to see the activity by Jalen Duren. It seems like every night it's just like, is he going to score 20 again? Like he's just become, such a reliable second option for this team, getting you around 17, 18 points a night. Douglas did kind of struggle to generate some looks in the first quarter. The Pistons defense was really suffocating them. They were closing out on the 3-point line, and they really struggled. Then we had this Jonas Valanciunas flagrant foul. So Stu tries to get position in the post. Jonas wants to foul him, kind of grabs him by the neck. If you guys watch WWE, looks like he tried to DDT him, like straight up, had him under his armpit and tried to take him down. Obviously, Stu's a really strong guy. And I saw a maturity level out of Stu that I'm really proud of. He could have tried to scrap and fight with Jonas, but he decided to walk away. And that's maturity. That's something that I was happy to see. Jalen Duren did get a technical foul on this one because he pushed Jonas for trying to tackle Stu down to the ground. But after that altercation, the Nuggets eventually closed the first quarter on a 14-3 run. Pistons were still very fortunate to come out with a 32-27 lead. That was such a entertaining 12 minutes of basketball. I was like, man, this game was everything it signed up for. It should have probably been a nationally televised game because it was just so entertaining. Going into the second, Ron Hollow, man, just the effort, the impact. Like we've said it time and time again. You put him in the game, he's making stops, diving for loose balls, pushing the pace. And I just love the energy that he brings off the second unit. I feel like he's the leader of the second unit. Him and Javante Crane are just so disruptive for the Pistons out there, and probably one of their better shooting halves. I really liked what I saw out of them the first 24 minutes of action. They were up 69-50 going into halftime. Now, I think what we're probably going to talk about is coming out of halftime. And this has kind of been an Achilles heel of the Pistons is the third quarter. They come out of the third quarter and they start with a lot of empty possessions, a couple turnovers. Then Denver decided we're sick of the Pistons just crashing the glass and getting offensive rebounds. They played Jonas and Jokic together. Can't say I've ever seen double bigs from Denver, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't watch a whole lot of Denver Nuggets games, mostly watching Pistons games. And if I do watch a nationally televised game, don't really see Denver on the national schedule too often. But they did try to do the double bigs. JB obviously matched it. He put Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren in the third to kind of offset that. But the Nuggets went on an 11-3 run late in the third. But the Pistons were still very fortunate to be up 13. So it was 93-80. Going into the fourth, you had the bench unit kind of rescue the Pistons because this game got really close in the beginning of the fourth quarter. Javante Green had a transition dunk. Then he had a really big three. Duncan Robinson hit some shots. Tobias Harris, well, we'll talk about a little bit later, late in the fourth. He hit some big shots. But Denver did surge back in this one after trailing as much as 20 points in the third quarter, really early in the third quarter. But they get it down to a 2-point game with 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go. and they went on a 17-5 run in 3 minutes, which I was getting nervous, and it reminded me of the last time we played the Nuggets in Denver. Like, I was like, this game's going to go down to the wire. It's going to be like a 1 to 2 possession game. That's exactly what happened. Tobias Harris hits a three, bounces off the rim, and it went in. I was like, oh my God, thank you. Thank you. I needed that to go in. Very next possession, Cade drives it to the basket. Fortunately, it was a goaltend, so the Pistons go up 5. And then it was just a thing where Denver was trying to get back into this game. We all know Jamal Murray is just a clutch shot maker. Made a three, got it close. Very next possession, they miss. Durden grabs a rebound, and then it gets into like the free throw game. They follow Dennis Jenkins, they follow Cade Cunningham. Murray has a chance to try to force it in overtime. So he makes his first 2 free throws, tries to throw it off the rim, and try to tie it. And Stu did a really good job of boxing out Jonas Valanciunas, so the Pistons could grab that rebound. And the Pistons win this one by 3 points, you guys, 124 to 121. Vegas knew something. FanDuel odds before this game was a 4-point game. It was a 3-point game. This is the first time for the Detroit Pistons since they've swept the Denver Nuggets in the season series since 2016, 2017. So you'd have to go back to the Stan Van Gundy era, very early on in the Stan Van Gundy era. But hell of a win, man. Denver's a very good basketball team. Jokic came back. Obviously, they're still missing Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson, but that's a top-seeded team in the Western Conference that is expected to make some big noise in the West. So anytime you have an opponent, you take care of them and you get a win. That's your 37th win of the season. And we're February 3rd, 2 days before the trade deadline does end. If you kind of just look at this team and where they're currently projected and where they're on pace for 60 wins this year. They won 44 last year, you guys. And we just got win number 37. The progression of this team is amazing. JB Bickerstaff and everything else, like, they've just done such a great job. I want to kind of get into the box score, and then we'll open up the show to comments and questions like we usually do. So let's kind of get into the box score with this post-game podcast. So with the box score, here we go. It's like I'm an amateur, but I think I'm just a little bit tired. So we'll start with the starters. Tobias Harris, 34 minutes, had 11 points tonight, 4 out of 13 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers. He was a +3 in this one. Duncan Robinson in 25 minutes had 20 points, 7 out of 12 from the field, 6 out of 9 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover. He was a -1. Only reason why he played 20 minutes is because he did pick up a 4th foul late, and JB kind of had to make a decision to either leave him out there or sub someone in. He eventually did try to sub someone in because he didn't want his best shooter, being in foul trouble late in the 4th quarter. Jalen Duren, another strong performance by him, 19 points, 6 out of 10 from the field, 7 out of 8 from the free throw line, 13 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal. Finished the game with a 0 in the plus-minus. And by the way, he will be participating in the slam dunk contest. So Jalen Duren is going to be participating in the All-Star game, and he'll be participating in the slam dunk contest. I saw the participants. Jalen Duren might be bringing the slam dunk trophy home. That's probably some of the weakest competition I've seen, but hey, JD, bring it home. Bring it home. Cade Cunningham in 38 minutes had 29 points. He was 9 out of 19 from the field, 2 out of 6 from 3, 9 out of 11 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 10 assists, 5 turnovers, 1 steal. He was a +11. What I will say with the 5 turnovers is Denver decided to trap him, and they did a lot of zone, which I thought for the most part he did a pretty good job. Have to kind of limit the turnovers down a little bit, but I think Cade will live with anywhere from 3 to 4 turnovers a night, considering how much he has the ball in his hands. Sar Thompson, more good news by the Pistons. Defensive player of the month. Back-to-back months, the Pistons have had a defensive player. 24 minutes tonight, 10 points, 5 out of 9 from the field, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He was a +9. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like, when's the last time we've had back-to-back Pistons win defensive player of the month? You probably have to go back quite some time. I don't even know if it's actually happened in Pistons history. Maybe someone can look it up. I'm not entirely sure. Isaiah Stewart off the bench in 23 minutes, had 11 points, 3 out of 7 from the field, 5 out of 6 from the free throw line. He got 6 free throw attempts in the first quarter, which was wild, but then he just didn't get another free throw attempt. He had 6 rebounds as well, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was a -2 in the plus-minus. Ron Holland in 15 minutes had 7 points, 3 out of 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, where he banked it off glass. Don't know if that was on purpose or not, but hey, I'm sure he'll take it. 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, was a +4 in the plus-minus. Javonte Green in 14 minutes had 7 points, 2 out of 4 from the field, 1 out of 2 from 3. Perfect from the free throw line, where he made 2 free throws in clutch time, 2 assists. He was a +0 in the plus-minus. Caris LeVert came back first time since the Boston game. Wasn't really sure we're going to see Caris LeVert again, but in 20 minutes, he had 4 points, 2 out of 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was a -8 in the plus-minus. Had the worst plus-minus out of anyone that played tonight. Danish Jenkins in 16 minutes scored 6 points, 2 out of 8 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3. Perfect from the free throw line, 2 out of 2. Again, those were clutch time free throws down the stretch. 1 rebound, 1 steal, and he was a -1. So collectively, like, you had good performances from Cade, Thurin, and Duncan this time. Last time we played Denver, it was Tobias Harris looking like freaking prime Carmelo Anthony posting up. I think Denver watched the film because like, we're not letting Tobias post up, because every time he tried to post up, they doubled him. Like, we're not letting him do that again. But if we look at the team stats, Denver shot 45%, Pistons shot 46%. Pistons shot 41% from 3, Denver shot 33. They made 12 threes in this one on 29 attempts. Denver got to the free throw line 43 or 37 times. They were 37 out of 43. Pistons were 26 out of 30. So the Pistons shot 87%. Denver's 86. Doing a much better job of cashing in on their free throws. I know we've talked about that ad nauseum on this podcast, about them just cashing in on those free throws. They were dead even in the rebounding department at 43 each. The Pistons did have more assists in this one. They had 27 assists, 9 steals, 4 blocks, only 9 turnovers. They're doing such a better job of taking care of the basketball, and you love to see that. If you can limit your turnovers, you're going to have a really good opportunity to win a lot of basketball games. Pistons had 26 fast break points and 58 points in the paint. And this was a game where there was a lot of technical fouls. There's 3 technical fouls and 1 flagrant foul. It's a very physical game. Denver's a really good team. So this is a good one. I'll take it. I know we'll be nitpicky in the comment section like we always are, but I do kind of want to open up the show to comments and questions. I'm just going to take a quick water break, and then when I get back, I will open up the show. It's open forum if you guys are brand new here, first time on a post-game podcast. We'll just have a chill rest of the podcast, talk about whether it's trade deadline, the trades that were made today. I'm sure I see some Jaden Ivey comments as well with the Kevin Herter and Dario Saric trade. So that's what the rest of this podcast will be. We'll be right back after a quick water break. Appreciate you guys tapping on in with us on a Tuesday evening. Okay, you guys, we're back. Appreciate you holding on. Uh, as I take a water break and kind of go through these comments in the live chat. If you're a podcast listener, have never made it to one of our live streams, I highly encourage you guys to do so. We have a lot of fun doing these post game podcasts, and then we have weekend podcasts as well. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been on our weekend podcast. This weekend, we're actually going to be talking to a Credential Media member, Zarek, who is not only a NBA photographer, but also a reporter as well. So really excited to talk to him this Sunday about the Detroit Pistons. But let's get into the Q&A. We got Marcus. Sorry to see Ivy go. Reminds me of D Rose when he was explosive before his injury. Ivy will get better in time, but the Pistons need to take advantage of the East now. Yeah, the Ivy trade, I'm not too surprised because the more articles I read, I saw like a lot of rumblings that the Pistons are exploring, options, seeing what's out there. They're exploring the market with him. I know Vinny Goodwill had reported after the trade happened that the Pistons were talking to Western Conference teams about possibly dealing Ivy. Don't know what the deals were. I don't want to assume what the deals were because I just don't know. But they did eventually decide to make a 3-team deal today with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Chicago Bulls. Time will tell with Ivy. I think we can all agree objectively, just calling it down the middle. Like Ivy was not 100% this season. He lost his first step, the speed, the athleticism. The shot was still there, which is a good sign. But I think it's going to take him just a full season to get back on the swing of things. And you also have to consider, the guy probably wants to get paid. He'll be a restricted free agent. Don't know if Chicago plans on keeping him. They could possibly trade him this summer, or they could possibly lock him down, kind of being like their shooting guard of the future, because I feel like they have a good core group of guys with like Giddy and Trey Jones. Obviously, they're still trying to deal Kobe White at this deadline, but maybe they kind of can buy into like a Jaden Ivey, Josh Giddy, Anthony Simons too. It's like it sounds like they're rebuilding. I really don't know. It'll be interesting to see though, like what does happen with Jaden Ivey this summer. I'm sure a lot of us will be paying attention to like what the figure is. If he's still with the Bulls, is this a sign and trade? But I'm wishing him well. As you guys know, I was a very big Ivy supporter during the 22 draft. I thought at 5 he was the best player available that Troy Weaver could take, and he did. But wishing him well, man. It's just his stint here was very up and down. Not really his fault. Players got injured, coaches got hired that didn't want to play him, and then played his best ball last season in 30 games before he did break his fibula. But wishing him well. I'm sure he'll do good things in Chicago. Piston fan 11. What is the chance Herder is traded to Sacramento for Malik Monk with draft capital, since Monk is too big to fit into the trade exception? Also, can you explain the pick swap to us, how it works, please? Wish Ivy well, great guy. Okay, so a couple of questions here. So, could Herder be traded to Sacramento for Malik Monk? Technically, yes. The trade has not been finalized. They could trade Herder if they wanted to. To answer your first question, with draft capital, I don't really know what draft capital you would want to. Monk is too big to fit into the trade exception. The Pistons actually did use some of their trade exception to absorb Dario Saric's contract. So they used, I believe, 5 million or whatever he does make. I think I read 5 million today. I could be wrong. I don't have his contract pulled up in front of me, but they did use part of their TPE to absorb Dario Saric. Also, can I explain the pick swap? So what the Pistons did is, currently, if you look at their pick, the Pistons are projected to have the 29th pick in the NBA draft. They swapped rights with the Minnesota Timberwolves with their pick. Minnesota, I think, is currently 22, 23. So the Pistons kind of go up a couple of spots in the draft. The Wolves still do worse. That pick gets better, as you guys know. Looks like the Wolves are big game hunting. They're trying to make a huge swing for Giannis. Sounds like it's going to be taking a 4-team trade. I would kind of keep an eye on that because the Pistons helped facilitate a 3-team trade with the Bulls and the Timberwolves. That could be a multiple team trade again, where the Pistons are still technically involved. I know some people are asking, like, could the Pistons get involved in a Giannis trade? They could. They really could. I mean, they still have some moves to make, obviously. Herder is on an expiring, Sarge is on an expiring, so it does kind of open up money for the Pistons this summer that I think they're going to need to re-sign some guys. So I'd keep an eye on that. Don't know if Giannis will get dealt, but it looks like Minnesota is gearing up to at least try to make an effort for that to happen. Jay Hart. Man, I appreciate it, Jay Hart. I see that you are a Pistons Talk member. Appreciate it. You guys get like these little like emblems next to your name so I can see that you're a member. So I appreciate you, Jay Hart. The funny thing is that Cade could probably average 30 points a game if he just didn't miss his usual 1 to 2 free throws. It pains me so much because I'm tired of him finishing with 29 points. Man, you're tired. I bet 30 points on the over for Cade tonight, man. Yeah, I agree, man. I feel like Cade does leave a little bit of points at the free throw line. But yeah, it's like it wouldn't be nitpicky. Like I think Cade could definitely average 30, but it's just it's a situation, man. It's like, come on, man. Come on. I know you can get it. I know you can get it. Avery Whiteside, Cavs just got better. So let's talk about the Cavs. So they've been very active at the deadline. So Cleveland decided to move off of DeAndre Hunter, and they sent him to Sacramento in a 3-team trade with the Cavs and the Bulls. Bulls got 2 second-round picks for taking on Dario Saric's contract, which they dumped Dario Saric at us today. So they got 2 second-round picks out of that. The Cavs got Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. So that actually helped them facilitate the trade that they made tonight because it gave them a little bit more cap flexibility of not being in like a close to that second apron. So now they have James Harden. So they have a backcourt of James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. I think from an offensive standpoint, they did get better. I think defensively in the backcourt, they did get worse. Trading Darius Garland for James Harden is definitely a choice. I think where Cleveland is at is they expected to be a little bit higher in the Eastern Conference standings this year. I think if you guys go back and listen, not to so much this podcast, but a lot of national guys had Cleveland and New York as kind of like the top dogs in the Eastern Conference. Cavs have had a boatload of injuries. I will 100% acknowledge that. Max Strus still has not played, and he was really big for them. Losing Ty Jerome was huge. I think that's why they did decide to trade for a Dennis Schroeder. Now you have him off your bench. You're bringing in James Harden, hoping that you can be playing in the Eastern Conference Finals with whether it's the Knicks, whether it's the Pistons, or whoever makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Cavs did get better offensively, but I think this is just kind of a desperation move by them of trying to compete in the window that they have because this was a very expensive team. Obviously, they do save some money of sending out DeAndre Hunter, but I'm just going to tell you guys, when we talk about the playoffs, when we talk about James Harden, when we talk about Donovan Mitchell, I know the Pistons have no room to talk in this aspect because they haven't won a playoff series since 2008. But when you talk about James Harden has been known to joke in the playoffs. Same with Donovan Mitchell. Now, is that going to happen this year? I'm not entirely sure. I do think they have way more scoring in the backcourt, and they are going to be a headache to deal with come playoff time because both of those guys can score in the half court. You still have Evan Mobley. You still have Jared Allen. It'll be interesting to see like how that does fit. I just kind of expect it to just fail in misery. I just do. I really do. I just don't see it working. I just don't because James Harden is more ball dominant that Darius Garland was. And the thing for the Clippers, I mean, James obviously wanted more money, and you get a younger player in Darius Garland, which I think he'll thrive there. Under Tyronn Lue. I think he's a really good player. Obviously, he's just had a lot of toe injuries this year. I mean, a year before, I mean, he was great. But very interesting trade by Cleveland. When I saw the report, I was like, there's no way they're about to do that. But we'll see come playoff time. We'll see. Wes Weaver, do you think we should make a move for Bobby Portis? Bobby Portis is like a $14 million player right now. I thought like if the Pistons were going to use their trade exception when they had the full 14 million, he fit right into that because he was around 13 million. Bobby Portis might be a player that does get traded in the Giannis trade. He might get rerouted to a fourth team like Brian Windhorst of ESPN reported. I don't know if the Pistons would still be in play for Bobby, but hey, you never know. You never know. I honestly think that a lot of teams around the NBA are just looking to see what does happen with Giannis. I think a lot of teams are just waiting to see if he does get traded. But I don't know if Bobby Portis is still in play after the Pistons used some of their trade exception to take on a Dario Saric today. I have a Nuggets fan saying, congrats, Pistons fans, from a Nuggets fan. We played like shit, FYI. I liked what I see from you guys. Nuggets are a good team, man. That's what I was telling people going into this game. Don't take them lightly. Jokic came back. I understand, like Aaron Gordon, which I don't think a lot of Pistons fans realize, really good player, has developed so much in Denver. I could see you guys playing in the Western Conference Finals with OKC once you guys get healthy. Jokic looked like he just came back from his second game after missing over, multiple weeks. I think once he gets a couple of games under his belt, he'll be good. But I mean, that was just a fun, entertaining game. We'll be watching you guys in the playoffs, seeing how far you can get. Maybe you guys can get over the hump and beat OKC and play in the finals. I know they were kind of joking on the broadcast saying maybe it'll be Pistons Nuggets in the NBA finals. You never know, but always cool to see other fans coming in these live chats and kind of just talk with us Pistons fans at the end of these post-game shows. I want to see Asar Thompson in a dunk contest. Yeah, Asar Thompson in a dunk contest would be really cool. It would definitely be a I'd love to see a Men Thompson and Asar Thompson in a dunk contest against each other. I really do. I think that it would just be entertaining. But the dunk contest to me has just kind of lost like the appeal over the years. Just All-Star Weekend in general has lost the appeal. I think that's why we've seen so much changes with the All-Star game. Now you have 3 teams when you just had East versus West when I was growing up. So many tournaments in the NBA now with Adam Silver because he's just fascinated with them, which I don't get. Hopefully we don't change conferences because I could totally see him doing like a March Madness type of seeding crap. Don't change East versus West, please. It would just be so bad for the playoffs. But yeah, I would love to see Asar Thompson and a Men Thompson in the dunk contest. It'd be really fun. Do you think Sasser will get some more proper bench minutes on the regular? He's a bucket, and we out here saying we need shooters. I don't get it. So appreciate the Sasser question. I think that when you look at Marcus Sasser, he's in a very tough position just because you look at the shooting guard rotation. So you have Duncan Robinson. You have Karis LeVert, who's taking a bulk of those shooting guard minutes. You got over 20 minutes tonight. You also have Kevin Huerter, who's going to be in the mix. Unless LeVert is moved and you're just taking a draft pick, which I don't see too many teams that have cap space. I think Brooklyn would really be the only realistic team that could do that. I think that if you're looking at Karis LeVert, he's on a 2-year mid-level exception around $29 million. I think that's more movable. It's not long-term money, but it's going to be easier said than done. I really don't know what Sasser's future holds. I'd like to see him played a little bit more. I think in situations where you need more 3-point shooters, like I think Chaz Lanier, who has just been getting G League time, G League reps, and Marcus Sasser, who are two of our better 3-point shooters, should get time. But I think with the addition of Kevin Huerter, I wouldn't really bank on Marcus Sasser getting too much playing time unless there is an injury, which you don't want to see that. But it'll be interesting to see what does happen in terms of just the trading deadline and what the Pistons do. I was told that the Pistons aren't done. They're looking to make one more move. So it'll be interesting to see what that move is and what it does bring to this team. I'll do one more question and then we'll wrap up this podcast. Do I think Karis LeVert is better than Jaden Ivey? No. I think if we're just talking about like what we saw Jaden Ivey before his injury and kind of accounting like what he looks like with an injury with what we're seeing with Karis LeVert, no. Karis LeVert has actually taken a huge step down in terms of production with points a game. I think the only reason why the Pistons did trade Jaden Ivey, you guys, is because they weren't really into a contract extension with him. I think everything you read, the Pistons wanted to make sure that they can re-sign Jalen Duren because it's going to be expensive. I think the price actually went up a little bit because he made an all-star game. He might make an all-NBA team. I'm not entirely sure if he will or not. But I think with Jalen Duren, they want to make sure that they can re-sign him. Asar Thompson is extension eligible, and so is Isaiah Stewart if you want to do that going into next year. So I think the Pistons wanted to keep their cap flexibility open because they want to keep their core guys together. That's Cade Cunningham, that's Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Ron Holland. So I think the Pistons' mindset with trading Ivy was they like him, but I think they know that they want to keep this core together, and Ivy had to be a casualty. I think we were just kind of looking at like who was going to be the first domino of the core that Troy Weaver traded the first core player to get drafted and then traded eventually by Trajan, and Ivy was just a casualty. It sucks because like if he doesn't get injured, maybe he doesn't get traded. Maybe he is the long-term 2 guard next to Cade Cunningham in the future. If it was Troy, probably would have given Ivy an extension, like because that's his guy. But that's just what I'll say. But I'm going to wrap up this podcast, you guys. I appreciate all you guys watching. We'll be doing multiple podcasts throughout the week. We'll be having the Washington Wizards post-game show on Thursday, and then we'll be doing a post-game show on Friday, weekend podcast on Sunday. And then if there are any trades, we'll probably be making a video about what types of trades the Pistons make or anything like that. But I do appreciate you guys listening and watching on a Tuesday night. Hope you guys are staying safe, staying warm. And as always, go Pistons. Peace.